Good morning, breakfast lovers. Good morning, breakfast lovers. Good morning, breakfast lovers.
Hi, Don.
Yeah, but I wish. I'd be good on this.
No.
Well, welcome to October and the first meeting of our fall season. And there will be a few ad-libs as I go through the slides because I didn't get all the information on that I probably should have. So October is Awareness Month. I didn't realize it was awareness for a whole lot of things, but it certainly is awareness for breast cancer, and that was established in 1985. This is the summary of things that we're going to be talking about today, and I'll probably talk a little longer than I should, but we'll let it go at that. If you have any questions about that, we'll move on. Here is our financials for as of October 5th, and we are a little bit ahead of the game on Grafton Township, but we certainly appreciate all of your contributions toward that. That doesn't go to the club, it goes to the Grafton. I chose the wrong color because I didn't want you to know about our budget. But this is our budget for 2017-18 that we're operating on. Am I too close? Oh. Okay. Can you all hear me still? I talk loud anyways. Anyway, that is an incorrect slide presentation by me, but if you need to know what our budget is, feel free to come in and talk with me in the lab. We do have a total budget of $12,669, as you can see, or $649, sorry, and we are planning expenditures of $11,762, so we'll be a little bit ahead of the game. We won't be like Illinois. Our membership is 1486 and growing, as it always does. When your machines fail, we get members. We will go on with club news. And about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, there was a neighborhood meeting across the hall from the computer lab on Tuesday evening. And a person came in to see what the lab was like. And I introduced myself, and she introduced herself. She's president of the computer club in Georgetown, Texas. And so I asked a little bit about their club. They have 3,780 members. So we may not be the largest, but we're the best. They have about the same equipment as we do, but they have 3 rooms, and their residential base, instead of we're about, 5,000 to 6,000 homes, and they have 15,000 and still building.
Wow.
Okay, anyone thinking about prep for the fall season, whether it's Thanksgiving or Christmas, if you're going to be doing any picture work or book work or family letters or collages, things like that, I would suggest coming into the lab and starting to do that, work that process and work that magic with the aid of some of our tech folks now, rather than waiting until the 20th of December. We are always looking for new topics of interest, and I got a few actually this week thrown at me, and so we're going to be talking about those at the board meeting in a couple of weeks. But if you folks have any suggestions about topics that are of interest to you, please let us know, and we'll see what we can do about finding an appropriate contact to make a presentation. If you're wanting to develop an address list and labeling, George Sebastian has always been very helpful in that regard. He's usually in the lab a couple of days a week. And if you're having difficulty navigating that, I'm sure he can give you some pretty good guidance on that. And again, I would encourage you to do it now rather than later. The second item is that we've been displaced out of Grenville Hall on the first Saturday of each month by Jameson's. They have some activities going. So in calendar year 2018, this is the first announcement that this meeting will be held on the second Saturday of each month going forward and starting in January. So you will hear about this again. Now, I don't want you to show up on the second Saturday next month. That's January. So I just wanted to give you fair warning that that's upcoming, and we'll continue to remind you, and we'll have announcements in the newsletter, etc. With regard to the newsletter, if any of you are not receiving the club newsletter, those of you that are club members, because this meeting is open to the community, there are probably some people here that are not members, but if those of you that are not getting the Computer Club news, please, I'll have a piece of paper up here after the meeting. If you could come up and sign up your email address, and we can verify that it's in our system properly. And the emails that we send out are based on CAM. So if your email at CAM is incorrect, then you don't get our newsletter, and you probably don't get Deanna's blast. The training schedule for October is going to be, we're going to have 3 classes. Would you like to say anything about those, or just have them listed as they are?
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to add is I'm working on a class for the website, Sun City website, and I thought it was going to be next Monday, but they got some upgrades coming, surprisingly enough. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I'll be able to have that class set up. And just watch your Saturday emails. Jim Nelson sends out the training schedule, and of course there's nothing for a couple of weeks, so that's why I didn't get anything today. But I do plan to do that, and there could be another class scheduled in, but right now there's only the 3 you see up there on the board.
Thank you, Rob. And now we'll talk a little bit about the community matters. Couple of things. The first 2 are the board workshops and board meetings that are listed. The third thing is the election of directors. And I'd encourage you all to vote if you haven't voted, or if you're like Chicago, you can vote again. No. In the elections pamphlet that you received, it said needs to be completed by the 16th or something like that, October 16th. Well, I got clarification yesterday at the President's Council meeting that means in their hands probably the evening of the 15th. So if you haven't sent it in by now, you need to get it in the mail almost immediately, because it may take 2, 3, 4 days to get back in and collected. But votes that are received after the 16th will not be counted. And the material that was sent out was not quite that clear. So just wanted you to be aware of that. There's a bunch of events coming up in the fall. The fall showcase is October 19th. There's also a arts and crafts fair on October 15th. And I do have some good news that was announced yesterday at the President's Council meeting. Whether you know it or not, the assessments are going down next year by $9.
Ooh.
That's the first time. We've had a $1 drop before, but we've never had that significant a drop. So we laud those that are working on that issue, and whether that means managing our place better or whatever, but it's a result of some good hard work, I'm sure, with all the volunteerism, and wanted you to be aware of that. The last thing I've got up there is the Woodshop Help Day, and I thought it was full, but I checked this morning and there are 2 slots left open. So if you need that, that table totally refinished, no, I think they do guidance as well as a couple of other things, but there are 2 slots open for feedback from the woodchucks. And what day is that, John?
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday. There's also going to be an open house for the pencil and palette in the pencil and palette room at the end of this month. I did not catch the date, but they are going to have an homage to some of their members that have passed on and have some of their art displayed, as well as some of the active members now. So we will move next to the why you came. You wanted to find out who was cheating you and when. And we'll lead off with John Sterling talking about Equifax. Oh, wait a minute, time out. I've got one other thing I need to do. That was during the budget, we showed a budget of what, 12,000 X, number 649. I would like to entertain a motion from the floor to approve a computer for our podium in the computer lab, not to exceed $700.
So moved.
Second? Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll spend your money wisely. Yeah, John?
I'm sure everybody's heard about the Equifax problem. Equifax is one of the 3 major credit bureaus, and their data got hacked. And more than likely, your data is in the hands of criminals. So I'm going to tell you today how to do the best you can do to alleviate that problem. 145 million people had their data compromised. And most of you probably had yours compromised. Here's what you need to do. Step 1, you need to log on to the Equifax Security Freeze website. And that's www.equifaxsecurity2017.com. When you log on to that website, you'll see a button on there that says, "Am I compromised?" And when you click on that button, more than likely it'll come up and say, "Based on the information provided, we believe that your personal information may have been impacted by this incident." Basically, what these credit bureaus do is, first of all, check to make sure when you apply for a new credit card that it's really you applying. And secondly, when you're applying for a loan, for a car, for a mortgage, the lender will go to the credit bureau to see how your credit is. And if your credit is bad, you won't get the loan. When you log on to this website, you can place a security freeze on your credit file. Unless you're taking out loans or getting new credit cards, it's a good idea to do that. You also will get a PIN number that will allow you to go in and unfreeze that data. The unfreeze typically takes about 48 hours to happen. Now, as soon as you go to that website and answer a few questions, they're going to ask you for your address, the last 4 digits of your Social Security, and a couple of other things. But as soon as you do that, it will generate an email. They told me that it would take 2 to 3 days, and it took a little over 2 weeks. So they're not getting it done as fast as they think they're gonna do it. You'll get that email in about 3 weeks, and it allows you to check your credit report alerts, to check the lock status of your Equifax credit report, check the alerts for your social security number. Now, what they do is they search a bunch of sites that have a lot of social security numbers for sale to see if your number is for sale. And they'll tell you after they do that, that these are all the sites that they know about, but there are probably others, so it's not a 100% check. You also have $1 million of identity theft insurance. But don't keep going to the mailbox looking for your $1 million check, because it's not coming. Basically, what they're insuring is your cost of undoing an identity theft breach. If you lose some money, they don't replace the money. All they're doing is paying to have the search and the identity theft cured. This is what that email looks like. There's 4 areas on there: the credit report alerts, and this is, the arrow is on that right now. And I don't have any credit alerts. Equifax credit report will come up next, Social Security scanning, and then talking about the insurance.
Another question.
Wait till the end. on
Oh,
questions.
but go ahead and ask questions now.
Yeah.
Chief said it this time. So if you have any questions, we'll take about 5 or 6 and we'll have another period at the end.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead.
In 2010, I froze my credit with all 3 bureaus. Is that a forever thing until I take it off?
I think it is, yes.
Because somewhere along the line, it said that it's good for 5 years, and I think in TransUnion, the response I got from TransUnion. But other people, everybody's been telling me that's good. Until I take it off, it's there forever.
Yeah, my understanding when I was on the site here was that you need to have the PIN number to go in to take it off. And they didn't say how long it was good for, but I never thought.
Like, thank you.
Yes?
I assume that both husband and wife should do this?
Yes.
One wife?
Do you have to freeze and lock your account to get that coverage, like that $1 million coverage from Equifax? Do you have to freeze?
No, I
have
don't think-
full intentions.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay, it's enough questions for now. If you got any, just write them down. Make a note of it. We'll have maybe more time at the end. Okay, I'm going to talk about, get rid of this other mic. How you can set up the classified ads on a website. How many have done this? That's pretty good. Okay, the rest of you can really, there was about 10% of the people have tried an ad. And of those people that raised their hand, how many sold it? Just about the same. So that means you're missing out if you haven't done it. And you get rid of some of that junk in the garage out of there. Giving somebody else a place to put it. So what we're just going over the basics of this. And all it is basically following the instructions on the screen. It requires you to log into the website, and let's see if my pointer will work. There is when you log in, you get this screen and it says resident over here. It didn't come all the way, but you click on that and it will bring up this screen here. This screen is you have to click on resident content and drag it straight down. Don't run it off to the side because this box will jump out on you. Don't disappear. You have to go back and hit it again and click on classified ads. This will bring up this page, and it tells you all the stuff. Now, you got to remember on our webpage, most of you will always have to scroll down. Scrolling down is important because a lot of times you hit the button, you won't see nothing happening. You got to scroll down to see most of these pages. This page will pop up now pretty much on top, and it'll tell some things. But if you want to write an ad, first of all, you got to figure out where the heck you do that. And there it is. That is the only place you can write an ad from. You got to click on this thing below number 5, all the policy and all that stuff. Don't shoot no guns or sell no guns. You'll find that in the classified ad policy. Don't do it for profit of anybody but yourself. You're not supposed to, read it. So then, after you do that, you'll get let's see, go here. Oops. Oh, what did I do? Leave the slide out. Yeah, I think I did. You'll get a screen that says, I'll maybe find it in there. A screen that says your name, your address, your phone number, and it'll have a spot for your picture. You click on the picture box. This is what gets most people in trouble. There was a limit of 1 meg pictures that could be sent up. They changed that recently. It looks like it's 2.5. There is a discrepancy in the instructions. It says you only can put a 1 meg picture in, but if you look on that box where you click on it, it says 2.5 meg. So we'll get back to that again, remember that. So then you'll get, once you click on the picture box, you'll get a box that looks like this or like that. And you have to find your picture. So if you have it like this, you can go up and hit that button there. And it'll change it to the actual pictures, which works a lot better than the text. So the pictures will show up and you can pick out your picture. Hopefully you know where it's stored. And click on it. Now, the picture should be less than 2.5 meg. If you've taken it with a new camera, one of the, any camera that's recently bought is going to be from 14 meg to 20 meg pictures possible. That's how many pixels it takes. Now, what that picture does is it's actually compressed in the JPEG format, and it depends on how much variables you have in there. If it's a, let's say you have a picture of a sky in the background or a solid color room wall, that'll be smaller than one that has multiple close-up of something that like is a tapestry that has all different colors. So it's hard to go about saying how big a picture is, even though you've taken it at the maximum resolution of your camera. And let's say it's taken, we always tell people, take the pictures at maximum resolution because you crop them better. That's true. So you could run into a problem with the picture being too big. The easiest way to solve that is to take your pictures for your ads separately from your other pictures and set your camera. You want to use a camera versus a cell phone usually, because a lot of cell phones don't have an adjustment for the size of the pictures. Some of the bigger ones do, but a lot of the cheaper ones, it doesn't even really make that much difference in the cost you paid for it. Some will have a setting that you can pick the resolution, and usually they have here's a example, well, we'll go over there and look at it right now. There's an example of one camera, that's a Canon Sure Shot, and it says 20 meg up there. So that's a pretty good sized picture. That'd be over, even if you take it most likely will be over to 2.5. So in those cases, you'll have to go in the camera and set this one only has, it says 5 settings, L and M1, M2, and there's an S2, because it says here, for email images. So you want to set this camera to the S, which is lower yet. They don't show it on this graphics even, because they don't expect many people to use it. But on this camera, I would set it to S. Take my picture of what I'm trying to sell, that picture will most likely be well below the limit, and you can send it. If you don't have it, you can come into the lab and we'll help you. Here's an example of when you look at the ads. Okay, you'll see how many know what the third ad was about with the no picture. How many know what the first ad was about? Yeah, you gotta have a picture. So here we got some pictures, and you can see you don't even read the text. You know, I don't want no shades. You go down, oh, outdoor set looks interesting, and I don't want no table legs. So you don't even read it. Your ad is almost useless without a picture of the item. So try to remember to get the pictures. And you got any problems, come into the computer lab. We'll help you with getting your pictures. If you have a cell phone, or you're taking your pictures with the cell phone, we'll help you get those in your computer or see what size they are and go get it working. So any questions on the ads, classified ads? Anybody, anything? Okay.
Next up, Shirley.
Okay, we're going to talk about how you upload things to the cloud. First of all, what is the cloud? The cloud, you can think of it basically as, well, it's not computers that are in the sky, but it's companies, large companies that have servers where you can store your files, photos, documents, any kind of files. So if we consider the way you used to have to store things, you used to have to put things on hard drives, maybe you put them onto a CD or a DVD, maybe even a thumb drive. But nowadays, people want to do things automatically. So the way you want to use the cloud is basically, how can you take pictures with your camera or with your smartphone, get it automatically into the cloud? How can you get music into the cloud so you can access it from anywhere on your PCs or tablets or phones? The idea being that you can find all of your files and everything anywhere, be device independent. We're going to talk about different ways to do it. Primarily, I'm going to talk about OneDrive because OneDrive is part of the Windows operating system, and you do get 5 gigabytes for free. If you have Office 365, you actually, if you've got the personal version, you'll get 1 terabyte for free, which is quite a lot of storage. If you've got the full version, you get up to 5 users on there, so you can actually extend that to 5 terabytes. Of course, OneDrive is not the only one out there. There's also Google Drive. You can get 15 gig for free on Google Drive. You can get 2 gig for free on Dropbox. There's also Amazon, and there's a myriad other services that offer cloud storage both for free and as part of subscriptions. Okay, as far as using OneDrive, how do you get started with it? Well, the first thing you have to do is make sure you have a Microsoft account. We've talked in the past about how you do that. Basically, you set up a Microsoft account, and that is your lead-in not only for OneDrive, but for other things as well. And if you're not using OneDrive, if you're using Google Drive, it's the same type of concept there. You're going to need a Google account there. On Amazon, you would need an Amazon account, and so on. Okay, as far as using OneDrive, to get started with it, if you already have Windows 10, you don't have to do anything. It's actually, it installs the OneDrive app along with Windows 10. If you don't have the OneDrive app there, what you can do is just go to OneDrive.com. At the top, you'll see your navigation things, and one of the things on there will be download. You click download and just select the correct version for whatever operating system you're using. There are two ways to use OneDrive. One is, and that's probably the easiest way, is to use it in conjunction with the File Explorer, which is part of the Windows operating system. The second way is to use the app on the web. There's a OneDrive app on the web, and to get to that, you just go to OneDrive.com, and this is the way you would do it. Let's say if you want to access your files and you're not on your own computer, you can go to any computer anywhere, type in OneDrive.com, sign into your account, and all your files will be accessible to you. Okay, the first thing you might want to put on to move to the cloud are your documents. Documents usually use the least amount of space in the cloud. So what you can do is you can move entire folders or entire subfolders to your OneDrive. And that's just a question of using File Explorer the same way as you would move a document or a file or a folder rather to from one folder to another. You can do the same thing with your OneDrive. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to have your folders as part of OneDrive and then move your folders right into there. Once you move any folder into OneDrive, it will be accessible in the cloud. And then you can decide whether or not you want to synchronize those folders to always be uploaded to the cloud whenever you make changes to it. And you can decide, you don't have to have all of the folders synchronized. You can have specific files or subfolders that will be synchronized. Okay, the next thing you may want to look at are your photos. On your camera, your phone, what you want to do basically is you want to configure for an automatic backup. So all your pictures get automatically uploaded to either OneDrive, Google Drive. Google Drive offers up to 15, well actually they now have unlimited storage. If you're using the unlimited storage, there are a few caveats there. So I believe it's 16 megapixel compression. So if you have anything that's a higher resolution than that, you either have to upload it yourself to your own storage, or else you're going to get the pictures compressed down to 16 megapixels. Amazon does something similar. Theirs is 13 megapixels. On a PC, all you have to do is move your pictures from one folder or subfolders to your OneDrive. Photos and slides, you probably have those in shoeboxes. So the idea there is just bring it into the computer club, we've got the equipment there, and you can digitize it and upload it to the cloud. Okay, the next thing we can look at is music. You probably have music. Nowadays, music, you can stream just about anything from the internet itself. So you really no longer even need to digitize your music. You may, unless you have something that you really want to, that's not available streaming, because there are a lot of streaming services now where you can just pick any piece of music and you can immediately access it and play it. But if you've got your old LPs, maybe some 8-tracks or cassettes, certainly you can bring those into the computer lab as well, and we can digitize those.
Not 8 tracks, everything else.
Everything but movies. Movies use the most storage space. A movie can, even if it's compressed, it'll usually take approximately about a gigabyte of storage space. So you want to limit the storage for movies unless you have access to multiple terabytes of storage, depending on the size of your collection. Okay, so here's File Explorer, and just giving you a way to move something into OneDrive. You're basically just clicking on the particular file or the particular folder, and you've got your OneDrive folder at the top there, and you're just going to move it into move whatever file you want into a subfolder of OneDrive. With music, by the way, as long as you have a music folder in your OneDrive, it will be accessible using the Groove Music app, which Microsoft provides for free. Groove Music used to be a streaming app as well. They had subscriptions to that. They're getting out of that now, but it'll still be accessible to play your own music. This is showing how you do a selection of which folders and subfolders you want to synchronize. If you all you have to basically do is just check off which folders you want to synchronize, and every time you make a change to any file that's in one of those folders, it'll automatically get uploaded. Here's a picture of using OneDrive on the web. That's where you would go to OneDrive.com on any computer, your own or the libraries or anywhere, and basically use it the same way. And you'll notice there's also an upload at the top, so you can also click on upload and you can quickly upload something to your OneDrive in the cloud, even if it's not on your own computer. The other advantage of moving things into the cloud is the ability to share it. So you can share your photos, you can share your documents, and basically you're going to just right-click on a file and you'll get a little link that'll ask you what you want to do with it. You can either send that link as an email to somebody, and they will then be able to access your documents, or you can also create an email itself. So you can, here's an example, setting up an email and put a little comment in there, and the person is then able to access your particular file, document, or what have you. The other thing you can do is load OneDrive onto your phone, and this is true for any type of phone, Android phone, iPhone, and then you have the same access that you would have on a computer. There's a couple of tips. Basically, if you're uploading things to the to your OneDrive or to any cloud drive. You have access to it from tablets, phones, and so on. Another nice thing you can do is if you're out and about and you don't have a printer, but you have a file that you want to print at a later time, you can just do a print to PDF, save that PDF file in the cloud. You're uploading that PDF to the cloud, and when you get home, you can then print it. And that's it.
Any questions?
Is Dropbox the Apple equivalent to OneCloud or OneDrive?
No. iCloud is the Apple equivalent to OneDrive. Yeah, Dropbox is another cloud storage, just like Amazon also offers storage as well. Another question?
I'd like to know how safe and secure your files are in the cloud.
It's going to be probably safer than storing it on your own computers at home. Certainly, you should also back up all of your files. Anything that's important, you want to back up and have it on a hard drive or a DVD or whatever at home as well. But if you're storing it in the cloud, these companies they go all out to make sure that it is going to be secure. I mean, don't forget, this is not just your private photos they're dealing with sensitive documents from corporations all over the world. That's not to say that they can't be hacked. We saw Equifax being hacked, so yeah, there's always that chance, but it's going to be as secure as anything else.
Shelley,
Yeah, George?
one thing you have to keep in mind, if you upload your pictures, figuring that that's your backup for your pictures, and then you want to clear off your hard drive, you take them off your hard drive. If you have that on sync, that will also eliminate them on the OneDrive. So you have to be careful in terms of, it isn't a permanent, I mean, if you don't have them synced, it is. If you have it synced, when you eliminate it on your hard drive, it will go up and eliminate it on the OneDrive. Or Dropbox, the same way.
Yeah, that's true to some extent. Now, you can synchronize different computers and different devices differently. So on one computer, you may have a lot of storage, you may have all of your files, you may be syncing everything on that particular computer. On another computer, maybe you're only syncing one or two folders or subfolders. But yeah, if you do delete something, it's going to be deleted off of OneDrive if that particular folder is synchronized. Good question.
How safe and secure is PIN numbers? Can you use this PIN number across several apps, or can you use a different PIN number on every application?
Well, PIN numbers are going to be as secure as passwords. Basically, it's just giving you the opportunity to put in a 4-digit number. People can remember that more easily than a longer password. But it still gives you the security. And what companies are doing now is they're going to basically to verification, so that they're going to verify with you when you're the first time you're using it, and you log into your account. You can tie it into your phone, so they'll call you back, or they'll send you a text message, and then you have to verify that you are who you are. So somebody else is not just going to come in there and use your account.
A lot of that stuff, we gotta really get, everybody in the audience, really take a look at what you get a chance on Google Cloud Storage and read all the features and what they're doing. Microsoft, all those programs, Google, they all encrypt your data when it goes up to the web.
There's also another interesting
It
point.
cannot be, if they get in there, and most of that data is not all stored in one, you don't get one little drive someplace.
Yeah, they have multiple locations for the same servers.
Yeah,
So that if you have an earthquake or something, it still would not. just
it's stored
destroy
two places, at least 2 different servers in 2 different geographical locations, so it's pretty darn safe. We most of the stuff they got in, they could get in easier by hacking your computer and finding out your username than they could get that data. Then, that's why you need the 2 steps when it asks you a question or sends you a telephone message, you can say, I don't know anything about that. No.
As for security and concerns about security, as of about 4 now, there are different levels of cloud storage and commercial and other, there are different levels of security on. But as of about 4 years ago, the Department of Defense issued a directive that anyone doing business with the United States government, Defense Procurement Agency, all of their files must be in the cloud. They want no files on local computers. They feel they're more vulnerable on local computers having data stolen than in the cloud. And those people pay a lot of attention to security.
Any other questions?
Okay, this maybe is a question. The cloud and OneDrive, they're just 2 different places that you can back up. Are they the same?
No, OneDrive is Microsoft's version of your cloud storage. Google has Google Drive, Amazon has storage. There are myriad companies out there that offer cloud storage.
They each name their,
OneDrive is like Beagle, and cloud is like Ball.
Yeah. Now, if you're using a PC, you've got you have Windows as your operating system, and part of Windows you're going to get a 5 gigabytes for free of OneDrive. So you do get that free storage, and you can mix and match if you want. You can have you can utilize OneDrive's free storage. You can utilize Google's free storage. Amazon, and so on, iCloud.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. How many Apple users do I have in here? Okay, I need to let my Apple users know that if you put music, if you digitize music in the lab, and you put it on your iPhone or put it in the cloud, you want to play on your iPhone, remember you do have to run it through iTunes first. And you have to convert it to the Apple format for playing. So I just went into my iCloud on my phone to test that, and if it's been digitized, which I do digitize music off of my CDs that I own, it will not play on your Apple devices, so just know that. You do have to run it through the Apple conversion process through iTunes. I'm going to bring you down out of the cloud. You ready to come back to Earth? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to talk about a network drive. And a network drive, we have a network drive in the lab that we use to both back up and store information across multiple computers. And that drive is available to all of the members of the club. So we have a number of members that come into our lab and use our computers on a weekly basis to do whatever they want to do, whether it's create a PowerPoint or create documents or what have you. And you're welcome to use that that drive to store your information. It is a network drive. It physically sits in the lab, and it is attached to each of the computers through a network. And it's on all of the computers in the lab, and I'll show you that in just a minute. Any member who is a member of the club and wishes to use one of our computers has access to it, and you can save your work there until your project is complete. And this is what it looks like. This is what the desktop looks like in our lab on any one of our 16 computers. And if you notice up in the center part of it, there's an area called Members Area. If you click on that area, you're gonna get this screen pop up. And when you see this screen pop up, you'll see it says in the string up there, the address and network drive, public and members area. And you see people's names listed down there. I have my name here at the bottom, of course. And all you have to do is click on that and you can save your documents in there. If you don't have already a folder set up and you haven't used this before, all you have to do is go up to, I'll go back. You see I have it on this one, new member area, a new member folder. Just click on new folder, and then at the bottom it'll pop up new folder, and just start typing your name when that address line comes up, and you'll put your name in there, and after that you can start to store your records. I'm going to be brief. This is all of my presentation. Conclusion, you want to save your work to the drive until your project is complete, whatever it is. You want to back it up on a thumb drive to take it home with you, or a flash drive if you want to use that. And then once you know that it's backed up, it's at home on your computer and backed up, I want to stress that, whether you're putting it on OneDrive or wherever you're backing up your files, I want you to, you can then come in and erase these files. Now we do have a 2 terabyte drive, so we have a lot of space, but we do ask you to be respectful of that, and once you've finished your project, to erase that data. You can leave your folder on there for future use. You do not have to take your folder off. The folderization process takes little, if any, room, so you're good to go. Any questions about the network drive?
Curious and focused on privacy. If I want to go in and click on Saletti, can I see your folders, or is there a way for you to password protect them or something of that nature?
That's a good question. It is not secured unless I secure it. So if I'm working on a document, I mean, most of the stuff that I store in my folder is stuff I work on in the lab. You're welcome to see it anytime you want. But if it's a secure document, then I need to password protect that individual document. If you don't know how to do that, ask one of us in the lab and we'll show you. Therefore, anytime you come in and want to edit that document, you do have to remember the password to get into that document. Question over here?
I have the same question, thank you.
Okay, other questions? Over here? Question?
I'll yell it. How about password for a folder?
No, you cannot password protect a folder, only files within folders. Other questions? I wouldn't worry about most of the stuff that you come in, that's our question in the back. Most of the stuff that people work on in there deals with their neighborhoods or their clubs or that type of thing. I don't see a lot of people coming in working on personal information, but please use it for personal information. Just ask one of us before you leave how to password protect it, and we'll show you how to do that.
Is that drive backed up?
We're in the process of working, yes. One part of it is backed up right now, and we're using OneDrive for the backup. So yes, it is backed up. Question up here.
Yep.
My question is regarding the Equifax breach. Don't you also have to freeze your credit report in the other 2 agencies? And is there a charge for that?
I'm not doing Equifax, I'm doing what? I could answer that, but I want the master to answer it.
Almost every time I go on the site to check something like that, I get a different answer. One time it said that Equifax will do it for the other 2 agencies, but other places I've seen they don't. So I think you've got to assume that that only does it in the Equifax, not in the others.
Any other questions? Any other questions on the network drive? Okay, thank you.
Now we have Ron.
Well, now we're going to talk about training videos. You know, many times people will say, you know, I'd like to have a class on such and such. We just had one last week. And so it might be a long time till we have another one, but with these training videos, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of things are available that you can do right in your home at your leisure. How many have heard of lynda.com? Ah, quite a few. But I didn't know much about it. I have a real quick thing I want to tell you. Lynda.com is an American online education company offering thousands of video courses in software, creative, and business skills. It was founded in 1995, so 27 years old. 95, 15, yeah, 22. All right. Nobody said you had to be old. Okay, whatever it is. It's not, but it's not very old. I mean, it's a lot younger than me. But anyway, they produce video tutorials and they're taught by industry experts. Now, their revenue in 2013 was $100 million, which lets you know that it's not free. If you wanted to access it yourself, it's about $30 a month. There's over 500 employees, and in 2015, lynda.com was bought out by another online company called LinkedIn. So I didn't know that, but anyway, I found that out. But anyway, Frank, this is what we're going to be talking about, lynda.com. You can go online and type it, but here's the nice thing. We've been able to partner up with the Huntley Library. They're paying the bill. Well, we really are, with our taxes, but they're paying for lynda.com, and they allowed us to put a link right on our homepage and our website where we can go directly right to lynda.com. Now, what you'll need to do is go to sccah.com, which is Sun City Community at Huntley, right? .com, SCCAH. No, at Huntley, AC. But that'll get you into our webpage. And the thing you need to do then is to click on Resident Login. And once you do that, it's going to take you to this page. And you look up there and you see Sun City Lifestyle. If you just hover your cursor over that, there'll be a drop-down box, and it's going to look like this. Come down here to Clubs. Click on Clubs. It's going to come over. Click on Charter Clubs. And now most of you have already done that. If you've been to our webpage, that's the only way to get there. But if you haven't, just kind of give you an idea what to do. Then once you do that, you click on Computer Club, and it's going to bring up our home page. Now, before I forget, see right here, this general meeting. I know several people taking pictures of the screen, didn't want to miss anything. This presentation is available by going to our website, and I think the last 15 of them are on, 15 months are on there?
Everything
should
from
be everything.
2014.
Okay. So you can go back and see any of these presentations. You can stop and start it, if you didn't catch it. You could even use the snipping tool, snip and put it into a document and save it for later so you can look and see what it is. But anyway, what you're going to want to do to get to lynda.com is come right here to the bottom, and here's our link, lynda.com. Now, once you do that, it's going to bring you into this. Oh, you have to have a library card. But this is the greatest thing for Sun City residents. They're free. Yeah. But it's going to ask you for that. You'll put in your library card number and the PIN number. If you haven't done it yet, you get your card. There used to be, and I think it's still the same, you just type in patron and you can get into the library. But you're probably going to want to do a change of password and then save it. So it comes up, this is what mine is, it comes up, you just click log in, and once you do that, this is what you're going to see. It gives you some possible things that you might want to look at, but up at the top, it's really hard to see. This is where you would type in really what you wanted to look at. Now, what I did, I typed in Windows 10. Look what I got. 10,257. Just looking through those 10,257, I mean, I don't know how long I'm going to live, but I wouldn't make it. And this is really something. But it does give you some ideas. Here, you can see the skill levels. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, appropriate for all. I don't know why appropriate for all is less than intermediate or beginner. But it is. But that kind of gives you an idea of some of the things you can look at or select. But like I say, these are all videos that you can look at. So then what I did, I thought, well, maybe I can get a little more specific. So I typed in Apple.
And, right? Oh, I cut it down to 7,649 for Apple iPhone Basics. I thought, God, I don't even have an Apple iPhone, but you know, they knocked off 3,000. I might live longer for that baby, but I don't know. So then Microsoft Word. Oh, you know what? I know a little bit about Word. Let's see what they got on Microsoft Word. So I clicked on Word and look at it, come down to 3885. I thought, you know, that's really getting good. So you can see the more specific you can get. If I put Microsoft, I think I put Microsoft Word Basics in there, and when I did, it come up with this right here. Now, notice it's got introduction, and it's got all down this side, it's got different subjects. So you don't really have to watch an hour and a half of the video to get to what you want to see. You can just click on any of these. Here, this is 3 minutes and 20 seconds on selecting text with a mouse or a keyboard. So you can see, you can pick out portions of that video to see just what you want. Now, I'm sure everybody in this room has thought, man, I can't remember how to do, I know we can do that, but I don't know how to do it. You're probably going to find a video that's going to tell you how to do it. And once you look at a video, I forgot to put that in the beginning, it's going to save it up here in this top. Until you delete it, it's going to save that video that you watch, and it's going to tell you watched 47%, 3%, 88%. So you know how much of the video you've watched, and you can go back to that point. You can even move back and forth into that video if you see something that you think really is going to help you. So I can foresee that there really is a lot of things that we can do in our spare time, if you have any, to learn some more, because you know, I think, you know, a lot of you might be doing that, because I've noticed lately in the lab, going there, there's 9 monitors and 3 people needing help. I mean, it's really, you guys are really getting smart. So I know you must be using these videos. Oh, if you're not, well, anyway. I really recommend that you look at it and try and see. Oh, you missed my last one, Frank.
That's awful.
He's getting back. No, back it up. We gotta have that last video, for that last slide. No.
Oh, just scroll down and click on it.
Yeah, scroll down and click on mine, the bottom.
You.
There you go.
73.
That's all, folks. Any questions? Yeah, there are some.
Okay, any questions? Any questions? Wait a second.
There's a question in the back, Frank. There's a question in the back.
Question where?
All the way in the back room.
Coming back.
If you are
A little quiet for a minute, because a couple questions answered.
Hey, folks, it's not quite over.
Okay, we'll call this a quiz.
Is there a video for a smart TV?
I'm sure there must be, because there's, you know, if you saw 10,000 of them for Windows 10, there must be one for Smart TV. The best thing to do is go on and search for it.
Okay.
As you're leaving, please clear the table of cups and napkins. Thank you for coming.